The first time I learned about climate change, I was in 6th grade. So I'm sitting in my elementary school science class, and my teacher announces that we'll be watching a movie, An Inconvenient Truth. She pushes play, and over the next 45 minutes, I absorb the magnitude of human activities that are destroying our planet. The bell rings, and my classmates stay seated. Our eyes are focused on the screen. The first time, flash forward 5 years, I'm a freshman in high school, and my county's in quarantine due to COVID-19. And I end up taking this class on sustainability, and this class is where I first learned that consumerism is a major driver of climate change. If you visit the website of the EPA, it lists 2 major human activities behind climate change. Just 2. Increasing surface absorption and fossil fuels. Both of these are linked to consumerism. If we look at surface absorption, the Earth loses the ability to reflect heat when we clear-cut forests to manufacture products. In terms of fossil fuels, consumerism is responsible for 60% of global fossil fuel emissions. This is the production and movement of the products we buy. So we're buying too much stuff, and it's killing our environment, but just like climate change, consumerism is more complex than it seems. It wasn't until I started a business that I truly understood the forces that keep us consuming. I sell vintage clothes on a website called Depop, which is an app that allows you to buy and sell used clothes. And so as I scaled this business, I started to understand 3 factors: marketing, psychology, and trends. I used all 3 of these strategies to grow my business and engage my buyers. They are also used by companies worldwide. So let's start with marketing. I first learned about the savvy world of advertising when I was looking to market this vintage resale business on Instagram. In the last decade, influencer marketing has created billion-dollar companies from the Kardashian empire to HelloFresh and Proactive Skin. It's particularly essential in creating business success within our generation. So I begin DMing these micro and massive influencers who have follower counts that range from 5,000 to over 100,000. And in June of 2020, I'm sending out these PR packages, and a lot of the influencers are posting and in my shop's clothing, and here's some of the examples. But I start to realize that some of the influencers never posted, or they promoted sloppy and rushed content. And I realized that the influencers promoting the worst content are also the ones promoting more than 1 product a day. I found this one interaction with this influencer in Los Angeles particularly interesting. So I sent her an outfit, and she posts an Instagram photo. And about a week later, I'm scrolling through Depop. And on Depop, I actually come across her personal Depop account where she was reselling the outfit she had just recently promoted, along with other items she was gifted from a variety of brands. Now, to tell you the truth, I wasn't that mad that she was reselling the clothing, because honestly, that's a lot better than her just throwing it away. However, we have this perception of influencers. We think they love and constantly wear all of the products they're promoting, but here's a well-respected influencer who promoted a product and a week later tried to resell it. So ultimately, it's the credibility and likability of certain influencers that encourages us to buy the products they're promoting. And even if we're conscious of that fact, we have no idea if they are being genuine or not. So influencer marketing is just one part of what motivates us to continue spending. Psychologically, we have to work harder as teenagers to control our desires and perceived needs. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in our brain associated with feelings of pleasure. When you're about to buy something, you're going to think of how that product will make you feel. If that product promises pleasure, your brain floods with dopamine, encouraging you to buy the item. Now, we also have processes for impulse control, improved judgment, and long-term planning, which regulate this dopamine process. But these processes live in the frontal lobes, which aren't fully developed until our mid-20s. So as teenagers, we're an easy target for consumerism because we lack these critical skills. Now, whether you're thinking about it or not, you desire to fit in with your peers. And this inclination to conform often results in competitive consumerism. Competitive consumerism is the constant rivalry in our buying habits. 90% of my closet is thrifted, and people constantly ask me, where do you thrift? Where do you buy your clothes? And I hate answering that question because I don't want my secret stores to become thrifting hotspots. And so usually I withhold my information because I feel like I'm competing with others. Now, FOMO, or the fear of missing out, connects to this. We feel we're missing out on a new clothing trend or convenient product, but really, our brain is seeking to compete and get a hit of dopamine. I've recently been very guilty of FOMO. This past fall, I was in New York City. I'm standing on a semi-busy street in Midtown Manhattan. It's a cold and crisp morning. There's cars and people rushing in every different direction. I'm about to walk across the street, and I look up and I see this giant billboard plastered across the building next to me. And on the billboard is a picture of the newest iPhone. It's sleek and modern and sophisticated. And as soon as I saw that billboard, it was like a switch flipped in my brain. I wanted that iPhone. I wanted the better camera and the sophisticated finish. And so, despite having a phone that functioned fine, I got the newest iPhone. Psychologically, we're predisposed to spend. I love the environment. I'm giving a TED Talk on the environment. Yet I still fell into the trap of wanting this hit of dopamine and seeking to compete with others. These forces are real, and they affect us all. Now, the last unconscious motivator is trends. If you look at the world of consumer goods, a lot of business models revolve around a system or business model that revolves around trends. Trends replace the old and bring the new. These items stick around while they're popular and are thrown away when they no longer hold our attention. Fast fashion is an industry that capitalizes on this strategy. Fast fashion businesses identify a high fashion catwalk trend and then rapidly mobilize to mass-produce products at low cost and typically with low quality. And predictably, consumers appreciate the affordable and trendy items being marketed at them. But these products have a massive environmental impact. When I look around the theater today, I see a lot of jeans. Now, I want you to raise your hand if you're wearing a pair of jeans or have worn a pair in the last week. I'm also wearing a pair. So that's a lot of us, right? That's, 50% of the theater today. Now, the reason why I ask this, you can put your hands down, is because jeans are a universally popular item. A lot of us probably have at least one pair of jeans in our closet at home. But if we look at what goes into a pair of jeans, in terms of water, it takes 10 years of personal drinking water to make one pair of jeans. In terms of fossil fuels, it's the equivalent of 70 miles driven by car. And that's just one. Our collective impact is so much greater. And because trends go in and out of style so fast, our trendy ripped jeans or our baggy boyfriend jeans will be discarded when they no longer hold relevance. And this is a colossal waste of energy and materials. So it turns out it's incredibly hard to stop consuming. There are individuals and industries who have devoted their existence to make sure we continue spending, and we are also psychologically predisposed to spend. Now, I'm not going to end there because the story of how we restructure our buying habits starts today. We are all part of a generation that believes in change, and we get the power of what to promote and what to spend our money on. The consumer goods industry is driven by our preferences. So Before you exit this theater today, I want to challenge all of you to make 3 changes. The first is be aware. Be aware of the companies you're supporting. A really fast and easy way you can do this is using the website Good On You. This website allows you to search any clothing brand and see the impact it currently has. Now, a lot of us cannot afford to shop completely sustainable. However, we can find a better and more sustainable alternative. Now, the next thing you can do is understand your influences. Who do you follow on social media? Who do you watch on YouTube? A red flag for me is when an influencer promotes more than one product a day. How can that individual thoroughly research, use, and learn to love that many products and so fast? Now, being aware and understanding your influences are 2 things you can do right now to change the way you consume. But the best thing you can do for the environment is buy used. This includes used clothing, used household items, used furniture. Previously, I mentioned the impact of 1 pair of jeans. When you buy a used pair of jeans, you're not generating any new resources. I also mentioned that I don't like telling people where I thrift. I don't like telling people where I get my clothing. But if we're going to change the way we consume together, I want to share my top 3 favorite thrift stores with all of you. These are all located in the Silicon Valley, a great place to shop, so I encourage you to check these out in your spare time. Now, one of the stores on the screen is the American Cancer Society Discovery Shop. Over a year ago, I started a program with this nonprofit thrift store, and the idea was born when I saw thousands of pieces of clothing being redonated to dollar-by-the-pound resellers at a very low price. And a lot of this stuff was things teens would wear. And so I talked to the manager, and we ended up creating this $10 and under clothing event that allows teens to shop sustainable and at a great price. Now, ultimately, finding sustainable alternatives is inconvenient to the lives we have learned to live from social media, our friends, and our communities. But being aware, understanding our influences, and buying used are all things we can do right now to change the way we consume. Now, keeping that in mind, I'm looking at the future leaders of the world. We're the next generation of CEOs, venture capitalists, entrepreneurs, and scientists. No matter what you do in both your career and day-to-day decisions, you will have the chance to choose the environment over a more cost-effective or convenient solution. So if we can cultivate better buying habits as teenagers, we can carry these habits into our future positions of power and have a tremendous impact on climate change. Thank you.